And welcome back to What If, Part 3 of What If Mikoto Uchiha Adopted Naruto. So last time on Naruto What If, we basically were delving into a lot of the specifics of what happened after Itachi basically kept him alive. Mikoto kind of explained what went on, why Itachi did what he did, whether Naruto and Sasuke really understood it or not, who knows. Basically what their school life was like and all that. But now we're getting to the big thing. We basically left off with Mikoto actually teaching Naruto the Shadow Clone Jutsu because she's a Jonin, would probably know it, and Naruto needs help on that. Sasuke also learned it thanks to his Sharingan, but can't do more than one clone at the moment. But now we're cutting over to graduation day. And, you know, Naruto and Sasuke at the house, and Mikoto just says, I have a big surprise for you boys if you pass. Do you do your best? All right, Mom, thanks. Bye, Mom. And they leave. Mikoto's smiling, but she also has a bit of a worried look on her face because there's something that kind of needs to be said. She needs to tell them something, specifically one of her sons. She needs to tell Naruto something, and you can guess where this is going, but she needs to tell him something. And she's worried about it. But she's also got it. But for now, she's not going to worry about it. She's going to wish her boys a good day, and prepare the little celebration we'll have at home with some food and a little gift, like a graduation gift for them. But anyway, they head there. They go. They take their exam. Now, again, as far as I know, there's a written exam and then there's the actual practical exam. I like to believe there's probably like a physical exam too, but they never actually fully say that. Now, Sasuke got the best grades in the class overall. He was the best student. Naruto in this version isn't a top student, but he's not a bottom student here. He's above average. So he does all right on the actual test. Come the actual practical part, that's where things get interesting. Mizuki, it's Mizuki. I believe it's Mizuki, right? Am I thinking Mizuku or no? Why am I thinking Mizuku? What am I thinking a Mizuku is? No, you know what it is? I'm thinking Minazuki. That's the problem is. I'm doing so much Bleach stuff right now that Minazuki is the first MZ name that comes to mind. But his name is Mizuki, or Mizuki. Mizuki's like looking forward to seeing Naruto fail, so because he can tell, because he knows Naruto's been struggling with it, so he can use him for his overall plan. Plus, he knows Naruto's the nine-tailed fox. Naruto points out, though, it's like, Iruka-sensei, Mizuki-sensei, I can't actually do a proper clone jutsu. It's like, are you certain about that, Naruto? You don't want to go try? Oh, no, I can do a clone jutsu. I can't do the clone jutsu, though. I talked to my mom about it. I just have way too much chakra for it. But my mom taught me a different jutsu that should work about the same. And they both kind of give each other like a look, like, you can do a clone jutsu, go ahead. And he just goes, Shadow Clone Jutsu! And then about 10 Naruto likes to show off, so 10 clones pop out. I was like, my, that's impressive. And they're 10 clones. This is more than any other students. It is. And then Iruka notices something. He's like, Naruto, could you bring one of those clones over here? Says, sure. And then, the clone stuff's over there. Touches it. It's a solid clone. How did you do that? This is not a technique most ninja can do, and let alone on this level. Yeah, and then he just says, like, yeah, my mom showed me this technique. She said because I had such large chakra reserves, even though I tried to improve my chakra with chakra control exercises, finite techniques like the clone jutsu are just not within my realm of our capabilities. But something like this, where I have so much excess chakra I can just pump it into, works out fine. Mizuki is just, he's fuming, but he's also shocked. It's like, it's like, and Iruka, who's very happy, is just like, well, you got nothing else to say, Naruto, except you graduate. He's like, yeah! So, obviously, Mizuki's pissed off, and he's like, oh, I'll get the scroll no matter what. Now, to sum up that little plot point real quick, Mizuki just tries to seal himself. He was going to have someone else do it with Naruto, and that way he wouldn't get caught, but he was impatient and brash, and he just went off and did it himself, and ultimately he got caught. So, that's what's going to happen there. Enough said. But now we cut over to the Uchiha homestead, where Mikoto picks up Sasuke and Naruto, and she says she's very proud of my boys. Yeah, we're gonna have a big feast, and I got a gift for both of you and all that. It's gonna be a great night. And they're all like, yeah, but again, she's got that. Now I need to tell them, look. But before that, they do go and they have a nice dinner. They celebrate. They're not really celebrating with family or with friends, just them. And that's really what's important right now, is that together as a family. Sasuke Sasuke, like I said, he's nowhere near as withdrawn in this version in public as he was. Like, he can engage in a conversation. He can even maybe smile, crack jokes, but he's still pretty distant from most people who aren't in his friend group. But at home, he's still able to smile, laugh, and all that with his brother and his mother. After dinner, basically just Mikoto says, "I have something for you kids, but there's something I need to tell you both, particularly you, Naruto." What? I was like, "What's that, Mom?" And then she basically starts, "You might want to please sit down for this, honey." And she sits down and she takes a big long sigh. As you know, I'm not your biological mother. Your actual mother, your biological mother, was a very close friend of mine. And I took you as my own after she passed away. And I'm proud to call you my mother. And proud to call you my boy. It's like, you're my mom no matter what. I wish I had known my biological mom, but no matter what, you'll always be my mom. That puts a smile on her face. But there's something you need to know about them. They were brave individuals, brave souls. Souls. And what they did because they had to. It's like, well, I understand, but why are you telling me all this? Because there's something that you need to know about you and what happened that night. And she basically explains how the fourth one. She doesn't say who his father was because she can't do that technically. Even though here's the weird thing about that. In canon, I don't think that's most like fanfics I ever read talk about how that's like a triple or double or triple S rank secret. Like, you are not supposed to say that under penalty of law. I don't ever recall that being the case in the original. Like, in the actual lore, I don't ever recall that being the case. That's an S rank secret about his parentage. I just think very few people knew about it, and therefore he wanted to be kept that way because he didn't want Naruto to maybe grow up with a big head or anything like that. But regardless, let's assume for a moment that it is a secret. She can't actually tell him who at least his father is, but she can tell him who his mother is, and she hasn't gotten around that. And she explains that your mother was Kushina Uzumaki, and she actually has a picture of her. It's like, oh my God, wow! It's like, Mom was really wow, she was really pretty. And it's like, yes, she was. She was my best friend. But there's something else about her that you need to know, and something about your heritage. She was the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, and this shocks them because they actually pay attention a little bit in their studies, or Naruto does pay attention a bit in his studies now. The concept of a Jinchuriki probably hasn't come up a lot, but it has to have come up, especially when you're talking about like the founding of the village. It's had to have come up maybe in passing, or it's maybe mentioned in books that they probably read about what a Jinchuriki is from the founding of the village and all that. Because they definitely know what the tail beasts are. Like, they know what Kurama or the Nine Tails is. They know about the other beasts. But Jinchuriki probably hasn't come up very much. But they probably read it or seen it or heard it in hindsight or in passing. So they're like, wait, I know what that is. It's a and Sasuke kind of puts it. I think isn't it a vessel for to contain a living vessel to contain a tail beast? Isn't that right, Mom? That's correct. And she did that. And she explains that she held the QB at bay with no problem. But under rare circumstances, the seal loosens, particularly during childbirth. And the man came, and apparently someone came and unleashed the Nine Tails. And unfortunately, that's how she died. But they died saving you. But to save you and to save the village, they had to do something with the Nine Tails. And Naruto and Sasuke can both kind of are starting to piece together what their mom's saying, and they're getting a little like, no, you can't, you're not, really? You're not serious. And it's like, it's like the fourth sealed the Nine Tails in you. You are the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. I'm sure you've noticed that despite your name, there have been villagers that have still given you dirty looks, that have kind of badmouthed you. I've been there to put them in their place, but they shouldn't have done it to begin with. And Naruto kind of thinks back to it. Now he thinks back to it. Even within the clan, there were clan members that always kind of gave him looks. Even his dad was always gave him looks that was like, it wasn't hateful, but there was a level of resentment or a level of desire, like for the fox. And Naruto couldn't really put his finger on why until at this moment where it's like Naruto's kind of piecing it together. And Naruto kind of just looks down and is like, so wait, I'm the fox. And then when Mikoto gets in his face, like, no, you are not the fox. You are Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha. You are my boy, no matter what. Is that you are my son, and I love you for you. And you are not the you are all you are. You are the jailer for the fox, but you are Naruto Uzumaki no matter what. You keep the fox at bay every day just by being alive, just by being my boy. And basically, Naruto's now just kind of, it's a lot to put on him, but he kind of, Naruto had always had an inkling that something was off in his life. Obviously, he knew pretty early on that he was adopted, and then his mom kind of flat out said it later on in life. And with the kind of generally people were okay with him, but with the looks that people sometimes gave him, he was always wondering what it was about. Now he just puts it together. It's like it makes sense. But Mikoto being there, comforting him, and his brother being there and looking at him, you know what? You may not be a Uchiha by blood, but you're damn an Uchiha by reputation. You are my brother. You are my brother, no matter what, and I'm proud to call you my brother. And Naruto just kind of gets some tears in his eyes. And they all get a big group hug. And besides, this just means I gotta try even harder. If you can someday access that power, I gotta be that much stronger than you. And then Naruto just kind of grins and is like, "Dream on, Sasuke. Oh, you want to go? Come on!" And they kind of just give them a look and each other a look. But it's that brotherly rivalry look where it's like, "Oh yeah, come on, you want to go, mother? Come on, yeah!" Like, and Mikoto just looks at her boys, and she's just happy that everything's good between them. Everything that Naruto isn't upset by what she said, that he accepts who he is and what he does for the village. And it's like, well, now we got that unpleasantness out of the way. Time for your graduation gifts. Both Naruto and Sasuke are like, oh yeah, graduation gifts, sweet. And now it's not. Now I know it's not we might have our funding, but I don't want you to get a big head or anything. But I did pull some strings with some of my colleagues in the library to give you these, and they both look at them and it's like, well, these are scrolls. Like, well, open them up, silly. And it's like, okay, and there's 2 jutsu on both Sasuke's and Naruto's scroll, and they're both A rank, and both of them are A rank jutsus. Like, whoa, these are A rank jutsus. Mom's like, that's right, you may be beginning, but you boys have so much potential in you. Plus, you're Uchihas, and you have the natural affinity to learn higher class jutsu and just to excel greater than most. She's still got the pride of the Uchiha, so she's still got a little bit of that arrogance. For you, Naruto, I know you're the only wind user I know besides maybe Azuma. So I decided to round you out a little bit. You did well with the Gale Palm and the Great Breakthrough, but you need a bit more variety. So I decided to put an offensive and defensive jutsu in for this scroll. Same with you, Sasuke, which reminds Sasuke to actually look at the scroll. Excuse me one second. Oh, there it is. Ooh, had dinner earlier. I'm actually feeling a lot better, too. My reflux is pretty much gone at the moment, which, thank God. But, Naruto and Sasuke both look at their respective jutsu. And Naruto's looking at his first, like, Futon Window. Or wind style window. I know some people get a little when I go futon or wind style window. It's like, why? I mean, it's just a dome of wind. Why is it so? Why is it an A-rank jutsu? It takes a lot of. She actually says it takes a lot of control to keep a rotating dome of wind simultaneously going. But the dome is perfect for defense, and you can even increase the velocity of the wind to cause a grinding effect. Not only can it basically block attacks, you can actually grind certain attacks into dust. Say a boulder comes out, it can grind it into sand. And you can even expand it for a larger radius. And then he looks at the other one. Wind style tornado fist. Yeah, when I basically gave him that technique I can't even remember the first video I ever gave him the tornado fist. But ever since I've given him the tornado fist in that one, every now and then, when I can, I like to throw it in there. Just because I think it was a missed opportunity of a technique. Really, when you think about it, it was a perfect type of jutsu that you could have done. So yeah, Tornado Fist, and he explains Tornado Fist. Sasuke, man, I was looking at his. Yep, for you, Sasuke, your main element seems to be fire. Although I have an inkling you may have a secondary element as well. But that's another thing for another time. You've gotten down the Fireball and the Phoenix Flower jutsu. Here I want you to go in this. And pretty much, it's similar to Naruto's, except No, Sasuke's is more. Sasuke, instead of getting a fire tornado, a fire fist explosion, um, he gets just that drag. I can't remember the name of that one specifically, but it was the dragon fire jutsu, the one he basically used on Orochimaru. Um, actually, I don't think that was that wouldn't be an era of one. Instead, I think I know it's is it the dragon fire one? Give me one. Sorry, I don't have it up there. Yeah, sorry, I didn't properly prepare. Get off me. I'm not going to go into it right here or anything like that. But real briefly, for the people, it's like you wouldn't spend all this time researching and delaying. If you just research better, it's like, okay, relax. All right, I'm just checking something. Which one was it? Was it the Dragon Fire Bullet? I think Dragon Fire Flame Bullet. That's the one that goes white hot. Okay. Just wanted to get the name right because I knew which technique ultimately was I wanted to give him. It was like a dragon technique. So basically, he's like, wow. But then he looks at the defensive jutsu, and surprisingly, it's pretty much the fire equivalent of Naruto's technique. Mikoto also points out that there aren't a lot of defensive fire techniques, if any. It is a nearly pure offensive element. But there are a couple that exist, at least in this lore we're doing. And it works on the same basis as Naruto's technique, except unlike with Naruto, you can, instead of increasing the rotation of the flames to grind something, and thus increasing rotation increases their heat and therefore can pretty much incinerate something on contact. Only downside to this technique is if you're not careful, you'll roast yourself in the inside of the flames. It's like, cool, thanks. So it's like, we love you, Mom. It's like, I love you too, kids. Now it's late. You can go practice your jutsu tomorrow. But right now it's late. It's like, oh, man. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was about a week before the actual announcement of teams. And so in that week's time, they're practicing those techniques. Naruto, luckily, has the advantage of the Shadow Clone Jutsu, which Mikoto even told him about. So Naruto makes a bunch of clones and is working diligently on them. Sasuke has to do it the old-fashioned way. So he's actually practicing. He actually is able to make the one clone. And he actually has the one clone, you do chakra control exercises instead of actually practicing the technique. That way he can build his reserve and now hopefully make more clones. So their week is spent doing that. Naruto ultimately actually gets both of his jutsus down. Maybe not perfect, but enough that he could use it in combat. Sasuke, on the other hand, is barely able to get the fire, because it's definitely tailored more to the offensive side he is the offensive side of things, so he gets down the fire flame dragon bullet. Barely, but he's exhausted from it. He hasn't even really tried. He's tried to do the flame dome, but it's just something he must get down right now. On the other hand, he has gotten to the point now to decrease his reserves of chakra. Not a huge amount, but enough that he can actually create 2 clones without overly tiring himself. It still tires him out, but he can create 2 clones at once. And honestly, if a clone pops, some of the chakra gets redistributed back into the body. So now he can do that, and now he's having an easier time. So now comes the actual announcement for the exam. Teams. So they get there relatively early, and they sit in the back. Hinata actually gets there pretty early as well, and they sit there because they're friendly with Hinata. They're actually on good terms with Hinata, so Hinata actually is willing to sit there and have conversations with them. As I said, Hinata isn't the one who's crushing on Naruto in this. If there is anyone who's crushing on Naruto legitimately, she likes Naruto as a friend, and like I said in the last video, you can see the barest bones of maybe an attraction there. But she also likes Sasuke in the same way because he's a nice guy and all that. Naruto's a bit more bright and bubbly, and she finds that a bit more appealing. But still, Sasuke is a nice guy too. She really honestly isn't focusing on ace or romance in this version, surprisingly. She's more focusing on her career as a ninja, which good for her. As they're talking, they hear something that sounds like a stampede of wildebeest, and all of a sudden, Ino and Sakura both just get out, cram through the door, and first, and they're both like, oh god, no, and they're both basically being fangirls. It's like, I'm going to sit next to Sasuke. Well, I'm going to sit next to Naruto. And Ino's like more the Naruto fangirl. Sasuke's more the Sakura fangirl or Sasuke fangirl. And it's like that's going to be a bit difficult. Huh? Why? Because they look up and they see that Hinata is sitting next to Naruto, who's sitting next to Sasuke, who's sitting on the end. It's like, no, but we want to sit next to Sasuke and Naruto. but please, it's like, Naruto so much more. Please, Sasuke could beat Naruto any day of the week. And they're like, should we tell them, or should we just let them duke it out here? Because they're like, we know exactly who will win a fight because we fight all the time in spars. So I was like, nah, let them fight. Let them fight it out. So they eventually have to settle for the fact that they can't sit next to their hubbies. And obviously Iruka comes in and signs the class. And they basically now announce the teams. Now, what are the teams? Well, you might be wondering that fact because, again, they put the worst student with the best student and the best Kunoichi, and they make that team to balance it out. But every rule, every class, every rule has an exception to it, and this would be no different. Basically, say Naruto Uzumaki, huh? Sakura Haruno, and Naruto's like, and even Sakura, who's more of a Sasuke fan, so like, oh, cool, yeah, right. Naruto's like, right, oh god, and Sasuke Uchiha, hey, sweet, yes. Sakura's just like, you get Sasuke and Naruto, that's not fair. And Sasuke and Naruto are both like, well, at least we're on the same team with each other. And they look like, oh dear, this is going to be a problem. And of all people to point something out, it's Shikamaru. Shikamaru was Iruka Sensei. Not that I'm really complaining or anything, but isn't the general rule supposed to be that the worst student gets placed with the best student? Isn't that how it's supposed to go? Isn't Naruto ranked like in the upper half of the class? That's true, Shikamaru. But as you know, every year, but if that were the case, you would have been on Team 7. Because they even said in the series that Shikamaru's grades were not much better than Naruto's, possibly even worse, just because of how lazy he was. And I'm not making, this isn't going to be a Shikamaru bashing series or anything like that. But I did find it fun to poke a little fun at Shikamaru. So Iruka Sensei points out that, look, Shikamaru, that were the case, Shikamaru, I would have put you on your team. I would have put you on the team instead of Naruto. To which Shikamaru's just whatever. But he knows that the Inishikacho is like a generational thing, so that was the case. And it's true, most of the time it's the case, but exceptions are made. In this case, we felt it would have made a better fit for Naruto and Sasuke to be on the same team with each other. And then they announced Team 8 and everyone else, and you'll meet your Jonin Senseis after lunch. So Naruto and Sasuke go and have lunch, and Sakura's trying to find them, and she basically eventually finds them. And they're like, we should, and as she's coming, she's like, we should at least try to be friends with her. I mean, we're going to be working with her, so we got to at least try to make an effort. Sasuke's just like, do we really have to? What else are we going to do? All right. And, she's there, like, hi, fine. It's like, we're going to have lunch together. It's like, yeah, we're going to have lunch together. Yay. So, I mean, they put on the good face. And for what it's worth, it's not as bad as they think. Yeah, she's a fangirl, and yeah, they're going to have to do something about that, otherwise she might die on a mission. But they can see that she's not a bad person. She's just a fangirl, unfortunately. And luckily for Naruto, she doesn't hate him in this version. Unfortunately, she keeps offhandedly saying how Sasuke's better than Naruto and all that. And it's like, no, I mean, not that you're bad or anything, Naruto, but Sasuke. But it's Sasuke. You know how he is. Like, yeah, I know how he is. I live with him. It's like, yeah, you're so lucky. It's like, yeah. Okay, we should. And then the bell rings. They have to go, and they have to wait for Kakashi to show up. And Naruto, he could play a prank, but frankly, he's just kind of minding his own business, just do. And then eventually Kakashi shows up and says, meet me on the roof. It's like, well, that's dumb. We waited here for hours just to go meet him somewhere else. And then basically he does the whole shtick about your dreams from the future. And with Sakura, it's the exact same. But with Naruto and Sasuke, it is slightly different. Or very different, depending on how you interpret it. Naruto goes, what's your name? My name is Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha. My hobbies include training, trying out new ramen, and hanging out with my friends. What I really like is the Ichiraki ramen, or the ramen from Ichiraki ramen. But I hate instant ramen and time it takes for that. But he also mentioned he loves his mom and his brother. Now, one thing we haven't touched on is, what is Naruto's goal? What is his dream? Does Naruto still dream to be Hokage? Does he still, or does he have a different dream entirely? I can see Naruto not being wanting to be Hokage in this. Not to say that he couldn't want to be Hokage later down the line, but he's never actually had to strive for that recognition. Now that being said, he's also probably admired the third for a long time, so you could make that argument he wants to be the Hokage. In this version, I still think he wants that dream. I still think he wants to be Hokage, but he also adds on that I want to become Hokage because his reasons for becoming Hokage are very different in this. Instead of wanting to be acknowledged, he wants so I can be the strongest ninja there is and protect everyone who is dear to me. And Kakashi says, "Yeah, that's not a bad response, honestly." In his head, anyway. Sasuke goes, "My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I like the things I like. I like the things I like, including my mother and my brother. I enjoy training and spending time relaxing when I can. My dream is not a dream because I will make it a goal. I'm gonna restore my clan and get revenge on my brother, or more to the point, get revenge in the sense that I'm gonna get answers from my brother. I need the answers directly from his mouth." So, and Naruto's like, Kakashi's just, good. You're all unique in your own different ways. Come to Training Ground 7 at this time, and don't eat breakfast or you'll puke. And so Team 7 begins their amazing journey. We'll see what happens with them. But until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I just ruined Win, Star Wars, Super Magic, What If, anything new on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get that at some point. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.